Good evening. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory. This is a live look at the Twin Bridges. You can't see very much since it's dark out, but I do want to point out what you see a lot of is tail lights. They are still doing that bridge inspection on the southbound bridge, so they have had traffic down to one lane all night, and so kind of slow moving there. And I do know that as of about 8:30, that's the last time I checked, traffic was backed up all the way essentially to I-69, so all the way up 41, all the way up to about the interstate is how far that traffic was slow moving. It is moving, it's just moving slowly as it does get down to one lane there. So just something to be aware of if you are heading south from Evansville into Henderson. Give yourself plenty of time to get there as it is slow going southbound tonight. It is clear, calm, and cool across the tri-state tonight. We've got sunny and warmer weather on the way through the weekend and into the start of next week. Now, by the second half of next week, we may see some clouds and a bit of a cool down, and that's due to a tropical system we're tracking. I'll have more on that in just a moment. We have clear skies over the tri-state tonight, not a cloud in sight, so obviously no rain to worry about either. Temperatures topped out in the low 80s this afternoon, but once the sun set, it started to cool off very quickly, and now we're sitting in the low to mid 60s in many locations. A few spots still holding on to the upper 60s at 69 in Owensboro, 61 in Henderson, Evansville in between at 65 right now. As we go through the rest of the night, those temperatures will keep dropping back out of the 60s and through the 50s, bottoming out in the mid 50s by early Saturday morning. But once the sun gets overhead, again, just as quickly as our temperatures drop tonight, they warm right back up tomorrow. So we start the day in the mid 50s, but by 9 a.m. we'll already be in the mid 60s, and by lunchtime we'll already be in the upper 70s to around 80. We'll then eventually top out in the low to maybe mid 80s in some locations tomorrow afternoon, with plenty of sunshine and blue skies all day long. The sunny skies continue Sunday and Monday, and with that our temperatures keep climbing with highs in the mid to maybe even upper 80s Sunday and Monday. But then we start to cool things off a bit. We see a few more clouds through the second half of the week, and that's because we'll be caught in some very minimal impacts from a tropical system. More on that in just a second. I am keeping an eye on the comments tonight. Happy Friday to you as well, Dan. Good evening, Suzanne. Good evening, Cheyenne. So thank you all for tuning in here. Let's check in on those tropics now, because we're tracking two different systems here. We have Hurricane Umberto. This one has intensified very quickly through the course of the day today. Earlier this afternoon, it was a Category 1 hurricane. Now it's already a Category 3 hurricane. But then we're also keeping an eye on this one. Doesn't even have a name yet. It's Tropical Cyclone 9. Both of these are moving to the northwest, so we'll be watching them over the next few days. Umberto is expected to continue to strengthen into a Category 4 hurricane tomorrow and remain a Category 4 up through Monday. But then notice as it starts to turn back out to the northeast, they're sort of making a U-turn out in the ocean. It starts to weaken as it moves farther north into a 3 and then a 2 again by Wednesday. Now let's talk Tropical Cyclone 9. It also gaining strength, expected to become Tropical Storm Imelda by Sunday, and then potentially strengthening into a Category 1 hurricane by Monday. But then as it continues to the northwest, it will start to weaken and kind of stall out right around the Carolinas. There's a little bit of uncertainty of exactly how this is going to play out, but the models seem to be getting on board that this may not make it very far over the U.S. It may not technically make landfall at all. That's a possibility. So here's an example starting with Monday morning. You've got that low pressure system sitting off in the ocean. It would potentially be a Category 1 hurricane by this point, but we're not focusing on that in this. We're focusing on where it would be and what the local impacts would be. So Monday, we're still sunny in Evansville, right? There's Evansville right there. I don't know if you can read it on the map, but that's Evansville. So Monday, this is still off in the ocean, but it already starts to bring some clouds and rain to parts of the southeast U.S. As that continues to push farther to the northwest and gets right up to South Carolina, This is where it's a little iffy. Some are indicating that it may actually make landfall. Other models keep it out in the ocean, but it would get sort of right up to their doorstep there for parts of the Georgia and South Carolina coast. Notice here in the tri-state, still mainly sunny, at least to start the day on Tuesday, if nothing else. We may see some clouds then starting to wrap in as we go through the day Tuesday and into Wednesday. Now, some of the models have been bringing this rain a little farther north and maybe brushing mainly western Kentucky here in the tri-state, but generally, it looks like this system may kind of stall out just off the coast of South Carolina. So the clouds and the rain would still wrap around across much of the southeast U.S., and we may get caught in the outer edges of that, but I'm not sure that the rain would ever actually make it here. It's probably going to be mainly just clouds. Then what's interesting is, our regular flow of weather is from west to east. Hurricanes kind of go against the flow of traffic here. And so it seems like it may not make it very far. It may get pushed back out into the ocean as it weakens and sort of the regular flow of weather patterns takes back over. By Thursday, maybe some clouds still hanging around, but then that system continues to push off to the east then as we get into Friday. So this is what we're looking at as far as rain is concerned. Very good chance that it will never make it to the tri-state. This is still several days out. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things that could change, but I think even if we did get some rain from this system, it would be a stray shower, mainly in western Kentucky. Right now, it's looking like we'll probably all stay dry, but there's that possibility that maybe some of that rain could work its way a little bit farther and barely clip the tri-state. For us, though, this would be extremely low impact. Really, the emphasis is going to be on the Carolinas, where this system may potentially just kind of park itself for a day or two there. If it stays just off the coast, that would actually be good news because it would mean the heaviest rain falls over the ocean. But it's very possible that they could see widespread rain totals across North and South Carolina of 3 to 6 inches of rain. And if this shifts even just a little bit farther to the northwest, you could start getting into those yellow shades there, which is closer to a foot of rainfall, which would obviously be devastating in some locations. So we'll be keeping a close eye on it. It's really a matter of concern for those in North and South Carolina. Here at home, we're going to get caught in a few of the clouds on the outer edges of that system. Mainly Wednesday, I wouldn't totally rule out a stray shower, but it's a slim chance. Mostly this is just going to be some clouds, and with that we also see a bit of a shift in our wind direction, and with the clouds and the cooler air coming from the northeast, I do think we'll cool things off just a few degrees, falling back into the lower 80s through the middle of the week, maybe even upper 70s by Friday, but that's actually right where we should be for this time of year, so it's not some kind of dramatic cool down. Checking in on the comments, Jeff Miller says it's a nice evening tonight. It is. It cooled down quick once the sun set, so that may have caught you off guard if you were out at one of the Friday night football games or something and you weren't prepared. It was really warm at about 5, 6 o'clock this evening, and by 7 or 8 o'clock it felt completely different out there. Good evening to Denise. No, Zach. Zach's asking about widespread outbreaks of severe weather next week. I don't think we'll have widespread anything in Evansville next week. We may barely even get a shower. Certainly not expecting any severe weather. Anything like that is going to stay well to our southeast down around the Carolinas. We did have some widespread rain this past week, though. September, man, it's been a wild ride this month. We started out with really crisp, cool fall weather from the 4th through the 8th, just a gorgeous taste of fall. Then things heated back up, and for about a week and a half there, it was hot, it was sunny, it was dry. Then earlier this week, the rain set in, especially on Monday. We got a couple different rounds of heavy rainfall. The total in the Evansville rain gauge Monday was 2.41 inches of rain. That was the first time we had had an inch of rainfall in 24 hours since July. We had quite a bit of rain back in June and July. Lots of storms, and then it's like somebody just turned off the tap, and August was dry, September's been dry up until Monday. Then we kind of finally broke the streak, and we had some additional showers and storms Tuesday and Wednesday, and the last of that rain tapered off very early Thursday. all said and done, we got 4.5 inches of rain in the Evansville rain gauge this month, which is actually a surplus on the month. We've been running drier than normal for quite a time. This actually put us up over the average. The problem is we got it all at once. It was spread out over a few days, which helps, but most of it fell just on Monday. And really, to break out of drought, you need lighter rain spread out over several days. A lot of hours, or even just spreading it out over one day would help. It wasn't even a rainy day necessarily. A lot of it was heavy rain in thunderstorms that fell within a couple of hours and then it was over. So really, while we have seen a lot of improvement, we got some very beneficial rain. A lot of the burn bans have been lifted. Despite all of that, we're still technically in a drought. Now, I will say this doesn't take into account all of the rain we had this week, because the way the drought monitor works is it updates every Thursday, once a week. Well, they stop looking at data on Tuesday, so it only goes up to Tuesday. Then they spend all day Wednesday sort of sifting through the data and drawing the map out, and then it gets released on Thursday morning. So the rain we got on Wednesday is not reflected in this, but since most of our rain fell on Monday, I don't think it would have made a huge difference. We're still looking at moderate drought for a huge portion of the tri-state. A few spots did get pulled back to abnormally dry, but on that same note, there are a few spots in Illinois and western Kentucky that are still considered to be in severe drought. So in general, the drought is still ongoing across the tri-state and much of the rest of our entire region as well. And we may not see a lot of relief. I just mentioned how we've got sunny, warmer weather in the forecast the next few days. Even as we get to the end of the week and we get a few clouds, I'm not convinced we're going to get much, if any, rain from that tropical system. It's probably all going to stay to our southeast. If we got any rain at all, it would be a stray shower. It's not going to be anything widespread or really all that beneficial. And the clouds cool down any rain we may happen to get. It doesn't seem like it would last. I mentioned that system is then going to push back off out to the east. Then the warm, dry weather kind of takes back over. In the extended outlook, looking from Saturday, October 4th up through October 10th, so that would include a large chunk of Fall Festival week there, we're still showing a trend toward above average temperatures across the tri-state and below average precipitation as well. So it seems like while we did get some good beneficial rain this week, it didn't truly kick the drought the way many of us had hoped it would. And it seems like this warmer, drier weather pattern is just settling right back in this week and possibly continuing through at least the first week of October as well. So that is something we will continue to monitor for you. William asking if there's any sign of rain later this month. I'm not seeing a whole lot of signs of rain at all. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we're still in hurricane season, so that can bring serious soaking rain. We've all experienced that before, where even though we don't get hurricanes here, we've all experienced that, where you get this tropical system that tracks where it ends up coming up through the tri-state, and you get that, couple of days worth of just rain just spinning out over the tri-state. So that's always a possibility. We could get a tropical system, not this one, but a different one that could eventually develop and bring us some soaking rainfall later this month. And, obviously farther down the line, who knows what could happen, but I don't see a trend toward a rainy weather pattern. Doesn't mean we couldn't get some rain at some point from something, but I don't see a trend toward a rainy pattern, a wet weather pattern. Overall, the trend seems that most of the weeks for the next couple of weeks are going to look more like this. Lots of sunshine, very slim rain chances, and temperatures running near or above average. I don't see a lot of cooler weather, and I don't see a lot of rainy weather in the forecast through the next couple of weeks. But we can always hope it'll end eventually, right? Drought can't last forever. Eventually, we will, get into cooler, wetter weather, just not anytime soon. So we're just going to have to wait it out. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. I've been keeping an eye on it here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up then. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Friday night and a great weekend. I'll have your forecast on 14 News at 10, and also it's Friday night, so we've got a ton of football coverage coming up in 14 News at 10, so I hope you'll join us for that. Our crews have been all over the tri-state getting these football games covered, so definitely looking forward to that. They've got a lot of good coverage going tonight. And then as for weather, I'll have your forecast at 10, and Michael Fecca will be here with any updates to bring you over the weekend. All right, everybody have a great rest of your Friday night and a great weekend.